Hi guys, my name is Hannah, and for this video, I'm going to be reading Twilight for the very first time in my whole life. When this book came out in 2005, I was 5 years old, so I was much more into reading Ginny B. Jones and the Magic Tree House than I would have been into reading a teen vampire romance novel. Now that I'm 21 years old, it's much more appealing to me. I'm just kidding. Well, kind of. I have seen all of the Twilight movies multiple times each. I have a special place in my heart for the very first one. There's just something about that blue tint that really draws me in. So I decided for my New Year's resolution that I would read all of the Twilight books in order for the very first time. And let me tell you, it was a wild ride. So if you want to see a first-timer's reaction to reading Twilight, then go ahead and keep on watching this video. At the time of filming this right now, I've already read chapters 1 and 2, and I've noticed like two things that are kind of different from the movies. Number one, Bella is a lot more rude in the books, and not like outwardly, which is obviously like not something we see in the movies either, but like in her head she's super judgmental. I feel like in the book so far she's not as likable as she is in the movies. It kind of threw me off, like, and especially the way that she talks about her dad. I love Charlie. He's probably one of my favorite characters. In the movie she does call him Charlie, but it's never like a thing that sounds like she's being disrespectful. It just kind of sounds like, oh, that's my dad, Charlie. Like, you know, she's introducing him. But in the books, like, right off the bat, she calls him Charlie, and she's like, I'm not allowed to call him it to his face. And so I'm like, okay, like, this is kind of disrespectful. Like, ma'am, excuse me. Aside from Bella being super rude, another thing that I noticed in the books that was not really mentioned in the movies is that Bella is a huge bookworm, and she's actually super smart.
I know we get that scene when she's in biology and her and Edward do, like, the onion thing super fast. But it's not really to, like, highlight how smart she is or anything. But in the book, Stephanie Meyer makes it a point, like, yo, this girl is smart. She's super into books. And in chapter 2, Bella mentions that she's going to reread Wuthering Heights just for the fun of it because her English class is studying it. She's already read it. Her book, her own copy is, like, super torn up, but she loves it, so she's going to read it.
This is super important, actually, to the plot. Mostly because of the way that Bella is attracted to Edward at first. Obviously, like, Bella likes these old books. She's into, like, Wuthering Heights, which is, like, an old romance book. Bella likes, like, old-fashioned things, and it's mentioned multiple times that Edward is, like, old-fashioned, and, you know, in the movie you get the quote, like,
and sometimes you talk like you're from a different time.
Bella likes these old things, and so I feel like knowing Bella's super into these old books, like, it makes sense why she likes Edward. I finished chapters 3 and 4, and I feel like there's not a ton to note, but number one, the scenes in the book are a little different from in the movie. The whole hospital scene is pretty different in the book. The prom isn't what's coming up. It's actually kind of like a Sadie Hawkins type of dance. Mike and Eric really want Bella to ask them, and she tells them, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be in Seattle.
Which is different because she said she was going to go to Fort Lauderdale, I think, or Jacksonville. She's going to go to Jacksonville in the movie.
Also, in chapter 4 of the book, Edward tells Bella that he would drive her to Seattle, which is very interesting, so I'm excited to see what's going to happen there.
So, first thing to note, I just tested positive for COVID, so you can be expecting me to finish Twilight in a few days. And second of all, I finished chapter 5.
Let me tell you, remember how I was telling you how, like, Edward is a little more endearing in these books? I kind of like them more. He is annoying in chapter 5. Not all of it, but, like, specifically the part Edward gets Bella out of gym class, and he, like, insists on driving her home, and he, like, it says that he, like, grabs her and, like, pulls her back, and she's like,
what are you doing? And he's like, I told you I was going to make sure you got home safe. You're not driving yourself.
And she's, like, really not for it, and he, like, kind of forces her to drive with him, so that was kind of suspicious. As I sat in my room trying to concentrate on the third act of Macbeth, she's quirky. She's different. All right, we are about to meet Jacob for the very first time, and I'm so excited. I didn't realize that we hadn't met Jacob yet. But Charlie gave her truck in the beginning of the movie. Literally all that he told her was that he had bought it from his friend Billy, but they weren't there, so Okay, so in this moment that they meet, Bella actually knows Jacob's older sisters, Rachel and Rebecca, who? More than she knows Jacob, which is kind of crazy. Alright, first of all, this Lauren girl is rude, and second of all, we got the famous line, the Cullens don't come here.
Do you like scary stories? Yes, obviously. I love them. I enthused making an effort to spoil at him.
Girl, for what though? Here, Jacob is telling her about the cold ones, and he actually specifically mentions the Cullens and Carlisle by name, and he calls them vampires. Alright, so I just started chapter 7, and in the movies, you know, there is no showing of any werewolves at all. There's, like, hinting at it, obviously, when Bella's talking to Jacob on the beach, but it's never shown. But here in chapter 7, or early on in the book, it shows, like, discusses werewolves. Jacob turns into a werewolf in Bella's dreams, and Edward is revealed to be a vampire. He's all glowing and sparkly. Website, there was, like, costumes, role-playing, video games about vampires, and then eventually she finds a promising site called Vampires A to Z. I'm not gonna lie, I just feel like there would not be really any reliable sources on vampires on Google. That's just me, though.
The way he sometimes spoke, with unfamiliar cadences and phrases that better fit the style of a turn-of-the-century novel than of the 21st century classroom.
Okay, Bella. See, this is why I said it was important to mention that she was a bookworm. He talks different, okay?
Edward Cullen was not human. He was something more. I'm so excited for Bella to confront him and tell him that he is a vampire. I'm so excited.
Also, side note, oh my gosh, Stephanie Meyer loves to use italics. I swear there's like 20 within these 2 pages back to back. So many italics. Bella is so much of a better friend in the book than she is in the movie. It kind of like breaks my heart. Like, I'm at the part where they go to Port Angeles when they're trying on dresses, and Bella's actually, like, telling her friends that they look nice for real, and she's giving them advice on what dresses and shoes that they should pick out. And in the movie, she's so dismissive and distracted. Like, why did they do Bella like that? Oh my gosh, we just got the scene where Bella is like, how old are you? And then he tells her that he's been 17 for a while, except this happens on their drive back from Port Angeles, not actually in the forest. But it's so crazy. Bella is really out here saying that she is unconditionally and irrevocably in love with Edward when she hasn't even known him for a couple months. Sister, get a grip. You don't know this man. And he's a vampire. Bella says that Edward's eyes are furious like 20 too many times. I swear, it's like on every other page. I know that I've said this kind of before, but like Bella and Edward become so obsessed with each other so fast. I know that's kind of like the point of the book, but it's like, guys, you have not known each other for that long. Edward talks excessively about how he would feast on Bella if he was not in control, like so much.
How late is it? I wondered out loud as I glanced at the clock. I was surprised by the time. Charlie would be driving home right now. It's Twilight. Edward. They said it. They said the title of the book, guys.
Okay, so I am officially halfway through Twilight, and I am obsessed. I honestly think I like the book better than I like the movie. It's just nice because you get a lot more, like, background knowledge. You get a lot more scenes with Bella and Edward. So even though obviously their relationship happens super fast, I feel like it makes a little more sense because you get to see them interact a little more, and, like, you get to see Edward smile more because they never smiled at each other in the movie, like, ever.
I'm the world's best predator, aren't I? Everything about me invites you in. My voice, my face, even my smell. As if I need any of that. Unexpectedly, he is honestly bounding away, instantly out of sight, only to appear beneath the same tree as before, having circled the meadow for half a second. As if he could outrun me, he laughed bitterly. He reached out with one hand and with a deafening crack effortlessly ripped out a 2-foot thick branch from the trunk of the spruce. As if he could fight me off, he said gently.
My girl Bella does not know how to dress. I gotta read you what she said she's gonna wear to meet the Cullen family.
I ended up in my only skirt, a long, khaki-colored, still casual. I put on the dark blue blouse he'd once complimented. I pulled my hair back into a ponytail.
She's wearing a long khaki skirt with a dark blue blouse and a low ponytail. Girlfriend, you looking like a horse girl. I'm gonna take a break to go to sleep for the night, but I'm about to get to vampire baseball, baby. I just stopped right as that chapter began, so I'll pick up on that tomorrow, but I'm so excited. But also it sucks because right after vampire baseball is like the boring part of this story. I don't know. I always felt like watching the movie, like the whole everything with James always felt like a totally different movie, and it always kind of lost me a little bit. Like, I thought it was kind of boring, so we'll see. Maybe the book makes it more interesting.
What will we be playing? I demanded. You will be watching, Edward clarified. We will be playing baseball. I rolled my eyes. Vampires like baseball. It's the American pastime, he said with mock solemnity. You coming on the first defenses! How am I let it go? Ooh, I'm not so light.
Okay, so that chapter literally took 20 pages. 20 pages to get to the actual baseball scene. Okay, the light is so yellow because this is my reading light. But I just finished the main story of Twilight. All I have left is like where they go to prom, but that's technically the epilogue. Oh my gosh, it was so good. Oh my gosh. Okay, like everything with James at the end was so much better than they did it in the movies. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And Edward's so much better in the book than he is in the movie. That's all I gotta say. Like, he's so much more romantic, has so much more life, smiles so much more, jokes. Oh my gosh. It's amazing. I can't wait to read about prom. I got my coffee here. Twilight. About to read the very last chapter, and then I'm done. Okay, one thing to mention. In the book, when they're going to prom, it says that
Alice had dressed her in the most ridiculous dress, deep blue, frilly, and off the shoulders, with French tags I couldn't read. A dress more suitable for the runway than forks.
And then they chose to dress her in the movie in that dress. Seriously? Oh my gosh, the betrayal I feel right now. Alice, Emmett, Jasper, and Rosalie all also went to prom. And we're not given that in the movie. We're not. Okay, no, Jacob's at their prom.
Well, I hope you're enjoying yourself at least. See anything you like? I teased, nodding towards a group of girls lined up against the wall like pastel confections. Yeah, he sighed, but she's taken.
I just realized there are a few scenes that I got wrong about the movie when I was talking about the book. Like how I said you didn't get to see werewolves at all in the movie, but I realized you do on that one scene, like when they're at the beach. So sorry, I got a few things wrong. All right, so that was it. That was Twilight. I'm finally done. It took me about 8 days to read this book. I read a few chapters every day. It was so good. First of all, the book, so much better than the movie. Edward and Bella are both much more likable in the book than they are in the movies, and I love them in the movie, but like, dang, Twilight hits different. You get so many more details. You get a lot more interactions between Bella and the Cullens and between Bella and her friends, and a lot more good interactions between Bella and Edward. And overall, the book was fantastic, and I cannot wait to read New Moon next. Right after I actually finish filming this video right here, I'm going to go ahead and watch the Twilight movie, and then I'll make a separate video of me comparing the book and the movie a little more in depth. And then after that, I'll begin New Moon. Thank you guys so much for watching this video if you watched all the way through. It was a wild ride reading Twilight for the first time. See you in the next one. Bye.